Minecraft survival content on YouTube has a big issue. These days, there are a few main categories of video. Hardcore, SMP, 100 days. They share one common flaw. Eventually, hardcore runs end. Servers close or change seasons. The worlds in these videos just don't last forever. And I want to see what it would look like for a Minecraft world to last forever. This is my Superflat survival world, which I started in 2012. The entire 11-year journey has been documented on my channel, as well as my growth from an awkward teen to whatever you call how I ended up. Last year, before my world turned 10 years old, I set a goal to make it another 10 years in the world. So basically until 2032. Ugh, sounds weird. So I laid out some major tasks for my world that I hoped would serve as a guide for the next decade. And I've already encountered 3 major challenges with these. But I have an insane plan to solve these issues that might just be my most bonkers idea yet. But first, let me fill you in. So the first big issue is that my plans from last year were nowhere near ambitious enough. I've already blown through a few of them because this past year was my first year doing full-time content creation. I've had much more time to make progress. In fact, I'm gonna finish off one of those major goals right now. This temple on top of my base has been left unfinished for over a year now, so I'm finally gonna wrap this thing up. I need loads of black concrete and glass for this, which is a perfect illustration of the pros and cons of having a super flat world. I can't just use ink sacs for black dye because squids don't spawn in plains biomes. But on the plus side, I don't have to go all the way to the end dimension to kill the wither because the bedrock layer on super flat worlds never got moved down with the world height. I can just kill him right under my base. But let's not get too distracted. The second major challenge I've faced when it comes to lasting another 10 years in this world is burnout. A year into doing YouTube full-time, I've begun to experience a few of the downsides of the job. I've found that taking time off is extremely stressful for me. Whereas before I could go on vacation and not really care about work while I was gone, now there's no one to continue working on my channel while I travel. I also find myself missing the days when I could just build whatever I wanted and give you guys little updates. These days, the ideas for Minecraft survival videos need to be bigger and bigger, and it feels hard to keep up. I've been watching this channel called Brickcrafts, and he does these weekly updates of his Lego city, and you never know what he's gonna work on that week, but you get a little bit of progress and a nice before and after shot. I don't really want to build every biome or catch every mob. I just want to keep chipping away at my world, like a Lego city. But even beyond all that stuff, a lot has just happened to me in my personal life this year, and I think I'd be feeling burnt out no matter what job I had, to be honest. People get burnt out on Minecraft all the time, even when they aren't playing it for a living. I know because you guys are always asking me how to stay motivated. It's like the #1 question I get. I have a whole video full of tips on staying motivated in your worlds, but recently I've been thinking that maybe for me it's even more simple. What's always kept me motivated in my world above all else is something I like to call the spark. The spark is that creative flame inside you that makes you need to sprint to the nearest napkin and scribble something down. It's that idea that feels impossible but still keeps you up at night, just wondering what if. I remember the first time I ever played Superflat with my friend Jason. Right away, I realized the potential of this game mode. I had this dream of building a big tower surrounded by endless terraforming high above the level where slime spawn. Below, a dark expanse with an endless ocean that I would traverse by boat. I started my world and pumped out episodes so fast, but even back then, I remember the burnout creeping in as I realized how big my dream actually was. But then a year or two later, I played BioShock, and once again, I had a vision. This time, an underwater base built on dry land and then flooded with a giant cube of water. I called it Salacia. Once again, I had this dream project propelling me forward, and this time I actually did it. Then with that achievement came a new dream, tying all of the separate elements of my world together. The spider farm became the Spurch, the mob farm became the mob hotel, the once lonely Withering Heights is now the peak of a sprawling ridge of hills. And even though they're still works in progress, I now have nether and end bases for my world as well. Essentially, not only were my original goals not ambitious enough in terms of time and scale, but they mostly consisted of finishing up old projects. I need new things to be excited about. I need something big. I need another spark. And I think I finally have it. But before I reveal my idea, I should mention the other stuff I'm doing to help with the burnout. Because a huge idea will certainly inspire me, but it could also just contribute to that burnout if I'm not careful. So I've been trying really hard to make some lifestyle changes. I've been leaning more on my editor, who's actually my best friend from school, and I was trying to work out every day, but then I sliced my leg open and I had to take a little break. But it's also 105 degrees outside every single day. But there's one last thing that could help. Remember when I was trying to build my end base and I got COVID and my PC was dying? Ironside Computers came in so clutch with a beautiful desktop for me, and I've been loving it ever since. So when I busted my leg and I was unable to work at my desk for a few weeks, I knew who to call. I've been wanting a laptop for so long because I hate feeling helpless when I travel, but finding a laptop that's actually good enough for my content creation needs is a major struggle. So when Ironside hooked me up with their new laptop, it was a dream come true. It's got a super high resolution 240Hz screen, a 24 4-core Intel i9-13900. You get your choice of an RTX 4070 or 4080. Not to mention, you can get these with water cooling, which is just a huge flex. The keyboard feels so good to type and play on as well. I could go on forever about how stoked I am about this, but I better just say thanks to Ironside for sponsoring the video, and please check out the link I've put in the description to pick up a laptop of your own. But now, I finally want to share with you my new spark. The idea that's been stuck in my head for a few years now, but I never dared attempt. Until now. Operation Megahex. So the idea is pretty simple. What if everything I've built in my world so far is actually part of an enormous basin, a large area sunken into the earth supported by massive ancient walls. Within these walls, the kingdom of Fenhaven is only the center. Many other kingdoms are found within the Great Basin as well, which is referred to as Midfell. I want to make some massive, uniquely terraformed regions surrounding our city. Frozen, jagged peaks with snow-covered villages and giant glaciers. Mountain pagodas, rocky canyons, dense jungle, desert dunes, all within a pair of counter-rotated hexagonal walls. And they're going to be tiered so that giant triangular platforms allow for settlements to form around the same height as the tip of Fenhaven's Spider Temple. After being forced to mine something like 40 million dirt due to a short I made, it's a long story, I've decided that I might as well put all of the dirt to good use. So that's the idea. It's probably impossible, but it has me excited. It's going to allow me to work in so many different styles and also develop so much more lore for the world. I can jump from kingdom to kingdom and project to project anytime I get bored. And maybe, just maybe, in a decade or two, I'll have something really special. A fully fleshed out world the size you might find in a fantasy novel, all built by one man in survival Minecraft. So we did it, right? I've got a plan for my world that has me so inspired and energized, and a little bit terrified, but in a good way. And I've been taking steps to solve the issues that are contributing to my burnout. Problem solved, right? Well, we'll see. This stuff doesn't change overnight. Ultimately, I think that I was so consumed by this dream of doing YouTube full-time for well over half my life, so now that I'm here, I guess I need to make new goals and dreams, and that's a little scary. But rather than leave you on that existential note, let's just take a look at what we built while I was rambling on and on. I had a ton of fun focusing on moody lighting for this build. I try to make it look like there's some sort of enchantment within the temple, making it permanently nighttime above. I basically stacked up swirling layers of colored glass with end rods to make this galactic spiral kind of fading into darkness. In these hallways, I've used sandstone to look like wax dripping from these candles, which is a technique I got from the building legend BOO. The whole build kind of leads you into this dark, ominous center chamber containing the obelisk. I wanted the kingdom of Fenhaven to have its own flag, and after messing around for a while with the loom, I came up with this awesome symbol that sort of calls back to the carpet pattern I use in the main tower. I then made a supersized version of the banner to hang around the tower, and I think it looks really cool. The banner depicts the obelisk, which is the magical power source for the whole city. Perhaps it was a gift from the powerful spider god worshipped by the citizens. I don't know, the lore's still got a long way to go. I had a lot of fun revisiting this video idea and seeing how far I could push my editing compared to the one from last year. I guess you could sort of call this like a state of the flat world address. Maybe I'll do another one in a few years. I hope you guys like this build, and I really hope I can make it to my goal of 20 years in this world. Maybe someday I'll pass the world off to my kids or grandkids. The world's first multi-generational Minecraft Let's Play. No, that will be wild. Subscribe in case it happens.